I want to talk about healing today. Healing as in something big and traumatic happens to you, and it just kind of feel like you permanently lost this sparkle in you and this part of you that made you yourself, and you're really just out there not knowing how to process it and what's going to happen, but still kind of actively trying to do something with it. I've been asking myself, why am I making this YouTubes beside just the pure pleasure of making them? But I really think that when I was younger, let's say between 16 and up until 20 something, I was so lost and I really needed some kind of guidance. And I just knew that I couldn't get it from my mom or some older people because they would not be guiding me. They would try to control me and they would try to just let things happen for me instead of letting me actively go through my life. And I understand that. I feel like I would be the same if I had a kid. I would be protective over them. But I was really, really, really looking for answers. And it's just something that I want to do on this profile. I want to share my life. I want to share some hopefully valuable advice because I have been through a lot. And I know that many people go through very similar experiences. Like, this is one first thing to understand about life. Most people go through very similar experiences. It's just because there's a lot of shame that people don't want to talk about it and share information. I don't have the shame. I like talking. So hopefully there'll be one person out there who watches it and says, hey, I've been through the same state of mind. I know exactly what it feels like. So I appreciate that. Let's go back to healing. A lot of traumatic stuff happened to me. I would say mostly between 2020 and probably 2023. And I'm talking loss, I'm talking betrayal, I'm talking abusive relationships, and really, really unsuccessful friendships. And I wouldn't wish that on you, but also it did happen. So somehow at one point in life, you just need to understand that, okay, that's over. But all the luggage that comes with it is maybe permanent, maybe something that needs to be worked on. I am lucky. I'm very much into self-development kind of person. I like to actively work on myself. I don't like it to take to extremes, meaning people who always constantly want to be productive, always want to be doing something. I feel like when a lot of traumatic things happen to you, first thing to do is to rest, is to simply sit down and just accept the fact that your body needs sleep. And I remember, I would say for at least 2 years, 2.5 years, the only thing that my body was craving were sleep and rest. I did not want to go out, see people, and socialize too much. I just wanted to feel safe in my own body, in my own house. And I feel like that's also very tricky because a lot of people feel like they are healed magically, but they are only just self-isolating themselves. They're sitting home, they don't have any interactions with people, with their friends and new people. So they say, hey, I don't feel triggered anymore. It's not that you don't feel triggered, it's just you always home. You always in your own environment. Who are you gonna be triggered by? By your own self, by your own mind? No, your mind is calm now. So I feel like you still actively need to interact with people once you pass this sleepy and rest stage. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I think I'll make more videos about healing and about traumatic things. What I want to say is how I feel today, because this is something that I am very proud of and that just makes me kind of feel good about life. So when all of these traumatic events happened in my life, I became very bitter, and I would say I felt obviously at all a lot of resentful, but also apathy. I didn't trust people, I didn't trust myself much, and I would imagine future as something pretty dark or gloom, or at least not very interesting. I would always imagine bad things happening to me, which is understandable. I feel like it's really your body trying to protect itself, of like, do not put yourself in this situation. And sometimes it's exaggerates, even like in okay situations, it would just keep telling you, don't do that, don't go there. This is a little too much, but that's how our mind tends to work. And I felt really lost. I didn't know what to think of, what to work towards. because I really felt that this is who I am now. I am this dark and gloomy and bitter and resentful person, and I don't feel good very often. And then the people that I'm going to meet are going to be pretty much the same. And obviously, this is very untrue. Like, this is first thing. If you're going through those traumatic events, and if you happen to feel the way that I've just listed, this is not a permanent stage, once again, on a condition that you take good care of yourself and that you work on boundaries and you do not actively seek those same types of situations and abusive relationships and people and yada yada. Healing does happen. Healing takes a lot of time. I would say that it took me, I don't know why I'm losing my voice. I would say that it took me, oh my goodness, I'd say at least 3 years, maybe even more, to feel the way I am feeling. So also be reassured, if your healing doesn't magically happen overnight or in 3 months, that's completely fine. It would happen faster if you have more resources, if you have a high salary, so if you're able to afford better quality of life, or if you can just stop working, or if you can afford therapy or some other things. I did not have that money. I was financially broke and just broke as a person, so it took me longer. But let's talk about the way I feel today. I think it was sometime this year that I found a letter from myself when I was 16 years old. There's a site that I used to use when I was younger. I think it's called Future Me or something like this. And I love to like send messages to the future me saying like, hey, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself. So to receive a message from a 16-year-old, I still know her. I still understand how she felt, but she's still very, very different from me. But there's one thing that I felt through what she said, is that she was very enthusiastic about life. She was very hopeful. She wanted a lot of things. She was trying to actively find them, and she was curious. And these are all the things that I lost after the traumatic events. I did not feel enthusiasm. I did not feel hope. I did not feel much joy, or it would be like very occasional. And as I said, I would still imagine future as this dark place, permanent dark place. But that is just not the case anymore. And when I read that letter, it was still in the time where I'd say I was better, but still not as good as I am today. It made me so incredibly sad because I still want all of those things, the things that she wanted for herself. And how do I find them? Because I am not that person anymore, because I don't feel that much hope, and I don't feel that much joy, and I don't expect that much from the future. And it kind of broke my heart to just not be able to give all of those things to her, because once again, she wants them and she craves them so bad, and so do I. And today I'm in a different mindset, and all of the steps, all of the things that I did to take better care of myself are actually paying off. And we're talking, I know it's gonna sound boring, but I swear it works. Going to bed earlier, probably waking up early if you can, having a lot of rest, having at least 8+ hours of sleep, exercising, eating well, and even some other things. I feel like you also really need to understand that each body is different, and meditating works really well for some people and not advised to others, depending on what you went through and depending on your type of personality. So you're gonna have to improvise a lot on your healing journey, and I know that it's hard, and it's also actually why it took me so much time to get there. But the more you improvise, the higher chances that you're going to find something that works for you. What works for me might be different from you. But me personally, I like reading, I like journaling, I like yoga, I like Pilates, I like walking, I like talking to my friends, plenty of other things. But it just works for me. And very obviously, in order for this to heal and to happen, you need to build this life around you that is safe, that is secure, where you're surrounded by people you love and appreciate. What really worked well for me too is working from home, because for the past 7 months I had been working from home because I just started a new job, but I have to go to the office and I hate it. And it just made me so profoundly happy. I would realize that I wouldn't say that I was happy to work this job, because it's still not something that I would like to do permanently, but I was okay with it. I was okay with the fact that I have this job and that I'm going to have it for a little while. And my colleagues were all right. My manager was fine. And it really, really, really contributed to my well-being. That's why I say that you need to improvise, because working from home works really well for me. Maybe that's different from you. And at one point, I just caught myself feeling like I want things, feeling like I am ready to go out in the world, like I'm ready to seek something better, and also realizing that I'm already actively doing it by taking care of myself daily. How do you do it? Looking for a better job, looking for a better healthcare plan, I don't know, whatever things you need to do. Like all of those things that make your life feel safe and stable and that actually work in your favor, and it's gonna help you get to this more or less of a permanent mindset where you feel reassured, where your body feels safe. And today I finally feel hopeful. When I think about future, I can see myself doing better and better progressively. And I also know that I'm doing something to get myself to that place. So it also makes me proud of myself. I want to share my life with people. I want to talk to people. I am not ashamed. I don't feel awkward. I don't feel weird. I like to dance. I like to sing. I like to move my body. And I also feel freer in my body. And also like notice things that happen to your body during your healing journey and prior to that, like maybe during some traumatic things that happened. Because I know that my body changed a lot. There were periods of time where I would gain on weight and like I wouldn't understand why, and there would be no reasons. I would be still eating the same way, going to the gym, exercising overall. And as I said, I feel lighter in my body. So this is like one of the signs where I go, hey, this is probably me doing completely better. When I wake up in the morning, I am actually quite excited. Even if I'm a little tired, I might be grumpy, but I feel good about the day. When I go to bed, I'm excited about small things. I'm excited about my breakfast. I'm excited about hanging out with my friends on the weekend. It's small things that actually start to matter, that had no meaning for you during the healing phase because it was just too hard. Because everything, as I said, seemed so mundane and dull, and like I had so much apathy in my body that hanging out with your friends, oh, okay, whatever, I can do it anytime. No, like today it matters to me. Today I'm genuinely excited about those small things. I'm excited to take pictures of sunsets because it looks really cute and because I really appreciate it. And just, I'm more okay with life and the routine and the way life goes. Like I don't sit and expect only big and beautiful things to happen to me. I'm just okay with finding joy and pleasure and hope in everyday things. And I really hope that if you're going through a healing journey and you watch this, you feel better about yourself. Also, if you're not there yet, if you're not at the stage yet where you feel good or okay, this is fine. As I said, it took me at least 3 years of active work. And I said, changing jobs, changing apartments, changing friend groups, like a lot of things where I was just experimenting. I was just trying new things. I wouldn't say I was consciously always trying. I was also just readjusting my life in the way that I would feel it would fit me better. But it works. It worked for me. Like if you sit down and you're stuck in one place and you refuse to move anywhere, you're gonna run out of options and you're just gonna stay miserable. This is where you are already. But if you allow yourself to say, hey, I feel like I'm not satisfied with this thing. What if I tried something new? What if I went somewhere else? I know that it does require risk and a certain amount of courage, I would say. But I am a proof that it works. I'm a proof that you can get to a place where you really love yourself, where you really respect yourself. And God knows I do. I do not love anything else as much as I love myself. There are things and people I still love. But I still am going to make sure that me and I and myself are being taken care of. And as I said, just daily things are so much easier for me that it's also easier to love yourself. So please, if you're not there yet, be gentle with yourself. Experiment, try different things. If you are already, and if you recognize yourself with just being lighter, being calmer, appreciating things more, enjoying things more, like taking pleasure in things and also not rushing things. I feel like this is also what trauma takes away from you. It takes away your time. it makes you feel like there's no time left, and then you wasted all of those years on trauma, and now you're like, oh, okay, I'm actually fine slowing down and just appreciating the moment. Anyway, if you are there, if you're getting there, I'm just really proud of you. I know how hard it is. I really do. I really do. And I really wish more people talked about it just daily, not just people on YouTube, not just people on social media, human interactions. People share their experiences, because I know that a lot of people, like millions of people, went through similar things, or at least similar emotions than me. Why don't we talk about it more? Because I know that it's very helpful, and I hope that is helpful for you today.